And he's like, didn't I shave your beard last time? No. So he had to shave the whole thing, because then it grows back uneven, so now I had to shave it again. And I didn't want to do that, but whatever. It's a beard. It grows back. Doesn't matter right now. Sinji, Ram?
Yeah.
This feels old.
Yeah, I mean, me looking like Snake, you looking like Pac-Man with that face. So here we go. Game 1, we have Sinji versus Ram. I mean, two slobber knocker players, two really high caliber players, and that Galaga looking really solid to start off 70% right off the back. I mean, you and I both have commentated matches like these before in Tunis. What should we be expecting from Sinji, though, being a little bit more different?
It's like, it's hard to tell. I feel like this kind of matchup depends on the personal conundrums of one's own philosophies, right? Is Pac-Man baby Snake, or is Snake baby Pac-Man? Like, you know what I mean? It's like they both do, like, relatively similar things. Rather, one is more of a set play type of character mixed in with some zoning, whereas Pac-Man is that bell forward smash that's going to take the stock, is low-key kind of full zoner in that kind of sense. So, as far as you're asking me, like, from Sinji goes, I mean, I feel like patient play from Pac-Man can work here. It's just going to be a little more hard for him to really deal with navigation around the grenades. But Pac-Man's got good normals, too, so once he's up close, he can still spell some good stuff. So, I don't know. It's actually hard to tell.
Yeah, one thing, if these two were to get in each other's faces, they both have really good boxing tools. I mean, jab is really good, and Snake has really good frame data when he gets in your face in the air as well. I mean, a lot of things to keep in mind, but one thing that I've been noticing Ram struggling is allowing Sinji to set up the hydrant, because as most Pac-Mans would do, that hydrant is more of like a wall or a feature just to like distract the opponent and just allow Pac-Man to continuously set up with his fruits, whether it be the bell, the Galaxian, or any of the other fruits that he has in his arsenal. And just Ram just allowing Sinji to play his game right now, play his neutral, is not looking really good right now. I mean, he's already at 160% and looking death right in the face if he's not able to recover.
Yeah, and that's the hard part, is sort of recovering against that hydrant in the first place. You talk about it building a wall sort of on stage as part of its neutral. You know, off stage, it's a hell of a projectile, too. I mean, that will kill Snake off the level at this point, most likely, especially off the side for sure. And Snake's recovery, you know, relatively exploitable if you got a projectile that's going to beat out the armor that the Cypher has, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Hydrant is definitely strong enough to be able to pierce through that stuff, especially at this kind of percent. So it's like on stage, I feel like Hydrant, like Snake has a little bit less to worry about because he doesn't really have to approach it too much because he's got Grenade to sort of still like set up around and play his own neutral with. But off stage, it's going to be a whole different story. And speaking of off stage, beautiful edge guarding on the part of Ram right there. Just beautifully navigating that Nikita around, forcing Pac-Man to eventually recover high and stuffing him out with the back air. Classic Pac.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but at 195%, Snake is clearly looking death right in the face, but and 200 to add on to it as well. I mean, Sinji allowing Ram to live that long, that really does pull out the question. If Ram is able to live out that long again, can he survive long enough to bring it back and potentially seal Pac-Man stock early? Because one thing Snake is good at, aside from throwing out a lot of grenades and getting a lot of good setups, his kill power is pretty good. So we could be seeing the stock being taken pretty early as well. And one thing about Ram that I've learned from playing him for so many times, you know, because we're Syndicate, of course. One thing I've learned from him is that he is not afraid to go for the most unorthodox type of plays if it means it will get him the win or just bring him back to neutral state.
Yeah, Ram is honestly like such an adaptable player, my friend, and not even in like the kind of traditional sense where he just thinks I gotta play more aggressive here or more defensive here, like standard adaptation would be. Like you mentioned, like this guy, if he's like reading your patterns right, he will just run off stage and forward air you, potentially at the expense of his own stock, just because he really likes to like play around and be that unorthodox Snake, if you would. But right now, he's kind of in the position. Oh my! All right, that was just that would have been kind of rude. I see what he was going for there. Just wanted an active hitbox in the one spot where Ram was going to have to fall down, but it didn't wind up working out for Sinji in the long run right here. He can't afford to play as unorthodox as he could before, especially when he's like this far behind. Yeah,
he's looking death right in the face. Both these players, I should say, are doing that. And one thing Sinji's just been doing well is leaving that hydrant in the middle. It's such a smart move because it kind of just tells me like, hey, I have this much stage control. It gives me this much neutral to work around, and if you're allowing me to have more space than I should, they're just going to allow me to take full advantage and probably just continuously pressure you without having to get in your face.
I guess so, my friend. I guess so, though. 147% on the part of this Snake right now. This is going to be a hell of a comeback to maintain, especially with only a minute 50 left on the clock. We're narrowly, I was going to say we were narrowly approaching borderline Sinji timeout territory, which he is no stranger to doing, but none needed. That key is going to take the stock right there, right towards the end, easily break through Snake's armor, catch him off guard. That's game one, going to Sinji.
Yep, and good stuff right there to Sinji. Just, that whole first stock was the name of the game, and it spoke a lot of volumes as to why Sinji was able to capitalize and take that game one over Ram. But Ram started to kick up a little bit. He started finding out a little bit of patterns. He started finding out ways of how he can get back in his face. He's going up to go back to the PS2, which is pretty neutral stage for both these characters. So, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with going back here. But what I do see is we need to see a little bit more pressuring, just like that, coming in from Ram. Just do not be afraid to get in the face of Pac-Man. I know Snake revolves around being a little bit more passive when he plays, but 75% when you play a little bit more aggressive seems pretty nice, if I should say so myself.
That it does, my friend, that it does. Neutral is reset, though, on the part of the Pac versus the Snake. Just feeling out the neutral right now. Which one is going to go for the Hydrant first? It's going to be Ram, who commits, and now he's eating a little bit more damage for it despite the Galaga Knight in hand. Gonna throw it away, though, trying to get a lot of damage on this Pac. Now these two are just pretty much feeling each other out right now. Oh my god, that was the wackiest Nikita I've ever seen in my life. You saw that do it in the other direction right there?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Oh,
that was pretty smart plays. I mean, it gets you the damage. It gets you exactly what you need. It's risky, but if it pays off, trust me, it's going to work out in the long run, and Ram has no issue whatsoever just throwing out moves that may pay off. And just like that, the first stock is going in favor of Ram, only 55% racked up on him. And this is where Sinji has to start changing up his playstyle a little bit, because he realizes I'm down and I could continue camping, but it seems like the more I try to just apply my setups, apply this trap, the more he's just going to try to get in my face. And right now, Ram seems to have him in the corner exactly where he wants him, but Sinji is playing it out real smart, just avoiding him in every cost.
Yeah, sort of board the platforms, play that sort of set play offensive game. I've always said that Snake is the kind of character that sort of forces you to play like a little bit of like a smart offensive linebacker, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Snake is like the definition of a set play character. This guy, for most characters at the very least, absolutely forces you to play his neutral. If you don't have a reflector to deal with if you don't have a reflector or a deflector to deal with the grenades, then you better be able to just sort of bob and weave around them, split the defense to be able to get in nice and good. Pac-Man, though, is kind of like, he's one of the exceptions to those rules, because Pac-Man, he's going to do that. What he just did right there. Why force yourself to play that, like, horrible, obnoxious neutral against Snake if you can just plop that thing down every chance you get in that hydrant and force him to do the same to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it seems to be paying off a little bit more for Sinji. He has the damage tacked up, but he has struggled, been trying to find a way to take the stock. And now Ram, what he's been doing is just utilizing his grenades, his C4s, to just play around with the hydrant. He's not even trying to get in Sinji's face, because he realizes all Sinji wants is a distraction option with that hydrant, and so he can just pull out more fruits. But now Ram is just taking full control. I mean, with this lead, of course, there's no reason to approach. Just telling Sinji, hey man, we can play this game all day. Either way, I got the lead, and I'm not gonna let you run away with it.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of got to do this. What are you going to do? You're going to run a Pac-Man? It's not going to work when that hydrant's in play. And like you just put that down, you plop yourself up a wall. It just makes you such an easy, exploitable target. Not to mention that Pac-Man's got some pretty good normals up close as well, especially in that forward air. Oh my goodness, with the bonus fruit. Hanging on deck every chance he could get, throwing it down, knowing exactly where Ram was going to be at the right time. And knowing that the down throw angle was going to work that time around, bouncing right back up off of the grenade. And see? You see? That's what I'm talking about. That's why he can't get too close.
That's
so rough.
Unfortunate right there for Ram. When he seemed to be running away with the game, Sinji just took one fair into a few others off stage to get the lead back in control. And now he's running away with it. And now the grab into up throw. But yeah. I mean, good reaction there right from Ram, realizing he was going to be able to land safely, and that up tilt will come in clutch. One of Snake's premier tools and really solid options right there. 81% right off the back, though, in the final stock. And this is still best of 3 territory. A winner of this one will be going into winners finals. And right now, it seems like Ram is sitting at the edge of defeat.
Man, Pac-Man just... he really, like, takes away so much of Snake's win condition. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just rough because, like, how do you deal with that kind of stuff against a character who sort of forces you to play that neutral instead? You know what? You know that question I asked at the beginning of the set? I'm like, is Snake baby Pac-Man or is Pac-Man baby Snake? I know that Snake came first in Brawl, but I gotta be honest. I'm starting to think that Snake might be the son of Pac-Man instead this time around because he's sort of showing that Pac-Man does a little bit of what Snake does, maybe slightly better due to the fact that he's got those crazy normals up close. You saw what happened. Not only he took away the win condition, but you saw that forward air string. You saw that. That killed Snake at, like, what was that, 60?